So it's Wednesday, June 28th. I'm at the West End Gun Club. Just set up my target. It's about 5:30 in the morning, but there's already two guys here at the range. I usually figure I'd be the only one here, but I guess there's a lot of early risers. Usually in the middle of the week, there's more shooters early in the morning. On Fridays, not so much. But I wanted to come out to get some data because I'm going to test the 130 grain Berger hybrids that I haven't loaded up yet, and I want to test some of the Hornady factory 147s that I acquired from Brownells. So it's a little bit more crowded than I expected today, but it is what it is. We'll get our rounds in and then get out of here because I got to work. So I'm going to try to get this data with these Berger 130 grain ARs, 6.5, with 43 grains of H4350, as well as, I think I did 42.5 and 43 grains. No, 43 and 43.5. So for the first 10-shot string with 43 grains of 4350 with the Berger 138 grain Berger hybrids, we're looking at an average of 2868. Standard deviation of 15.7, extreme spread of 54, although that first shot did throw it off because it was a good, I would say it's a good 40 feet per second off of the average. If we run the numbers and eliminate that first shot, I'm sure the standard deviation would drop. And eyeballing it, the average would probably still stay the same, say around 2870, which is already kind of hot. Well, I don't know. I'd have to test. I have some Hornady 130 grains sitting in the box. We can try those later for a comparison. but the next load to try will be 43.5 grains. So that next string of fire with the 43.5 grains of 4350, it neglected to take 2 rounds. One of them it aired out, couldn't track. Then the 8th one, so the 5th one aired out, 8th one, there was a line break and it powered off and I didn't notice it. So I should probably increase the duration of the idle timeout by a minute or so. But based on an 8-shot aggregate, we're looking at standard deviation of 5.6, extreme spread of 18 with an average of 29.01, which is pretty good. So I'm done with the 130 grain Berger hybrid testing. I'm going to try out some Hornady factory loads. The 130 grain, the 120 grain ELDs, I think, and then the 147 grain ELD, just for informational purposes. So most people are familiar with the 140 grain ELDs, but I got myself a few boxes of the 120 grain ELDs and the new 147 grain ELDs. Not sure how these shoot. The 140 shoot barely a minute of angle on this gun, but we'll try the 120 grains and the 147s. The 147s I've heard pretty good I guess opinions of it on the internet, but we know how that goes. So we'll try them out in this gun. We'll see if it's any decent. But I'll try the 120s first because I'm interested to see how the lighter loads run, or the lighter bullet weights run. So the Hornady 120 grain ELD match factory loads average 28.92 with an extreme spread of 56, standard deviation of 16.6, and the group was not very good at all. So we're going to try the 147s. So the 10 round string of the 147 grain Hornady ELD match averaged 27.59 feet per second, standard deviation of 11.7, extreme spread of 35, but the group was terrible. A lot of left to right windage, or left to right variation. I would say it's almost a 2-inch group at 100 yards, which is pretty bad. It's a lot of left to right. Don't think that was shooter induced. But given the fact that the Hornady ammo, I've not been able to get it to shoot in this gun or this barrel. It's probably just this gun doesn't like ELDs. But that's pretty much it for shooting. I fired 40 rounds. I just wanted to get the data off the 130 grain Berger hybrids and then test out these factory loads, which I've not shot before. Then just gonna wait for line break and collect my target, and probably show off the target once I go ahead and retrieve it. Looking at these groups here, this first group is the 130 grain Berger hybrid with 43 grains of 4350. Well within an inch. I would probably call this about 3/4 if you do edge to edge minus diameter. This is the 43.5 grains of 4350 with the 130 grain Berger hybrid. That's well within an inch. The up and down is a little bit disconcerting, but that left to right group dispersion is really good. Probably the same group size, about 3/4 of a minute. This is probably what I'm going to look at to tune. We'll see how this goes. So we'll try 43.5 grains, 4350 with the 130 grain Berger hybrid. That runs about 2,900 feet per second. Then going down to this one, this is the Hornady 120 grain ELD match. Not really good at all. Well, probably 1 1/4 to 1.5 minutes group size. And then here's the 147 grain ELD match. Really huge left to right dispersion, about 1.5 minutes, not very good at all. It's unfortunate that I can't get factory loads working in that gun, but for the most part, I'm a hand loader, so it's not too big a deal. So it would be nice to be able to get factory loads working, because the whole point of me using 6.5 Creedmoor is so I could use factory ammo in a pinch. So the fact that I can't get a factory load to work in this gun is a little bit disappointing. We'll see. And then, but at least I have some brass to mess around with, because I'm going to start trying to play around with the large rifle primer brass to see if I can get that to shoot. But this gun likes Lapua Brass. Small rifle primers work great in it. Don't have any cratering, so I'm going to stick with Lapua 6.5 Creedmoor brass for the Savage 10 FP that I have with the Schillen 6.5 Creedmoor barrel. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of my gear packed up and get out of the range. A little update before I get out of the range. I actually skipped the range vlog a couple weeks ago. So on Father's Day, my father and I went out to the Desert Marksman range for a range orientation, because I ended up joining that range online. And so they require range orientation before you receive your membership card and your pass to get on to the range. So that was about an hour and a half, and I didn't think that we were going to shoot, but I threw a gun in the truck just in case we had some time to shoot. And so after the range orientation, we were already out there, so we figured, hey, why not shoot a few rounds before we left the range. And so we busted out the 308, fired on some steel that they had out there, and then and took off. So I didn't record that because I didn't expect to be out there shooting, but so technically I did skip a range vlog that I could have, or I skipped a range session I could have vlogged. But I joined the Desert Marksmanship range, or Desert Marksman range, because they have facilities where I can shoot out to 600 yards on steel. It's a pretty decent range. So I want to be able to have a facility where I can shoot, because Pendleton right now I can't get zeros with my non-308, non-223 rifles, because they're still enforcing restrictions on cartridges. So I needed a facility where I can shoot out the mid-range with a non-308, non-223. So I'm going to have to get some new steel targets, because I need to set up some steel out at 600 and probably 500 and 400 yards, so I can get some data out there, even though the elevation is about 3,000 feet above sea level. I'll have to double check that. But you deal with it. even though the range you have higher elevation than you normally shoot, you still want to get some data. So it's going to be still a useful facility in order to obtain some ballistic data and you know, drop data as far as my loads are concerned. So that is probably the most recent happenings as far as firearms are concerned with me. So yes, I did join a new range. So I have membership at the West End Gun Club as well as the Desert Marksman Range. It's a solid hour-and-a-half drive for me because it's out in Palmdale, but you deal with it. Given in Southern California, it's harder to find ranges to shoot at. With actual distance and being in Riverside, it's not very easy to go out to the desert because it's even farther, and so I didn't have to deal with driving out 2.5 hours, trying to find a spot, having to worry about dirt bikers getting into your impact areas. I'd rather shoot on an actual range facility, so that's why I joined Desert Marksman. So hopefully I can make a trip out there. I'm gonna have to do it and take a day off and then head out there on a weekday. Get out there early in the morning so I can shoot when it's not hot because it's summertime. And Palmdale does get hotter than the rest of most of SoCal, and Palmdale is pretty hot. So hopefully I can range vlog there sometime in the very near future, and we'll see how that goes. Anyway, it is Wednesday, June 28th. I need to get out of the range because I need to go home and do the usual thing of ditching my gear and then head to the office because I have some training to do because I'm doing a 5-day week-long training, and it starts at 9. It's a virtual training or online training, so I need to get on my computer and dialed in before 9 o'clock. So anyway, that's it for today's range vlog. Just doing some 6.5 Creedmoor load testing again. It looks like the 130 grain Berger hybrids can shoot. I'm going to tune the load a little bit, but I think I have my choice between the 130 grain and 140 grain. So until then, see you at the next range vlog.